Good afternoon, everybody. How are you? Welcome to this afternoon's Railbookers webinar, a little bit of luxury, the world's best train journeys. That's me, Gareth Jones. I'm the product manager of Railbookers. I do feel that my appearance has changed a little since that photo was taken. All this lockdown, staying at home business. But anyway, pleasure to meet you. What I'd like to do, first of all, if it's quite all right with you, is on the control bar on the right-hand side, there's a little area that says questions. If you would be kind enough just to pop that open and pop your name in there, let me know where you're tuning in from, just say hello. It'll be great to know where you are in the world, but also just to make sure you can hear me okay and you can see the screen. Everything seems to be running a-okay from my end, but I've had some horrible experiences in the past of just babbling on to myself. It hasn't worked very well. Gary and Alison up Chester, thank you very much for tuning in, guys. First on the board. Wonderful, there's lots of you. I'm over in York myself, so the other side of the mountains, but it's quite a nice evening. No rain, which is lovely. Anyway, loads of you, good stuff. Thank you very much. Wonderful, wonderful. Let's get cracking, shall we? So, first of all, what I'm going to do is tell you about a great offer we have in place at the moment, okay? So any bookings made with us at this stage for the next couple of weeks, you've got this. Basically, pick your perk. What it means is, if you're to book a holiday for 3 nights to 6 nights, 3 nights to 6 nights, you get £300. We put £300 towards a perk for you. What is a perk? So if you wanted to upgrade your train ticket, upgrade your hotel, that's the lovely Schweizerhof Hotel, their 5-star property in Lucerne, right on the lakefront. They light their windows up every night. It's very pretty. Upgrade your hotel room in the hotel from a lake view perhaps or something. Extend your stay, so add a night on or add an activity, a cookery course, a sightseeing excursion or something. We pay £300 towards that. If you go for 7 to 9 nights, we pay £400 towards your perk, or £500 if you go on a holiday for 10 nights or more. Okay, so it's a very special offer we've got in place for the next 2 weeks. If you're familiar with Railbookers, I'm very sorry for going over this. You've probably heard it a million times, but I do think it's good just to kind of go over again, just in case anybody's new to Railbookers, you're unsure of our services, who we are, what we do, essentially. Now, of course, with a name like Railbookers, you would certainly hope that we're rail experts, and we are. We know our stuff for the best routes to the best times to ensure you have the best holiday. You can book and travel from today to 2 years ahead. Of course, it's very, very limited in terms of where anybody can go at this moment in time. Absolutely, we appreciate that. But, you know, it's the second half of this year. If all things continue to look as relatively positive as they do, we'll be able to travel again. But also, as mentioned before, we guarantee holiday prices 2 years in advance. So you're able to put a deposit down now for a holiday in March 2023, and that price is confirmed and locked in. The remaining balance won't be due until 3 months before your trip, so it's quite a while to wait until you have to kind of think about the rest of the money. Maximum flexibility, any destination, any date for any length of time. Simply put, the train goes there, so do we. The holidays which we offer, over 3,000 of them on our website. We'll have a look at some luxury ones today. They're completely flexible in terms of the details, so you can add nights on, take nights away, upgrade a journey, upgrade a hotel, change a hotel. You come to us and say, these are the places that I want to go to. I don't see them on your website as a holiday. We can make it work for you. We can put it together, all the train travel, hotel accommodation, there you go. It's all independent travel, so you're not traveling as part of a group, okay? We do, however, have the largest rail holiday selection. And what do I mean by that? Well, we've got the luxury rail experiences, which we'll look at today. Post-river cruise add-ons. If you're thinking about going over to Budapest, for example, for a Danube river cruise, we can help you get there by train or help you get back. A multi-country journey, a multi-city trip, or a custom rail itinerary designed from scratch. We have it all. We do. No rail trip is too complicated for us. This is in place until the end of the month, which is very strange. I'm pretty sure it'll be extended, but maximum flexibility. So what do we mean by that? If you were to make a reservation, so get a deposit paid now for a holiday in the future, you'd be covered by this. You can change the travel dates or postpone the holiday up to 5 days prior to departure without incurring any fees from us. So we're not going to charge you for changing the dates, essentially. Okay. When we do get traveling again, though, it's good to have this knowledge, I think. Wherever you are in the world, you have 24-hour support from us. You'll have an emergency number to call at any point, no matter where you are in the world, and you can get through to one of the team. The main office is in London, and then Beverly, Massachusetts, north of Boston, Laguna Hills, just south of Los Angeles, Toronto in Canada, and Sydney, Australia. Offices in all these places. Everybody is, of course, working from home at the moment, but still doing the same thing. So I said, wherever you are, no matter what the time is, you can give us a call. Any emergencies, any questions, we're there to help. Okay. This is just an insight in terms of some of our direct rail partners. Again, every national rail operator in the world, plus the kind of private train operators, we have direct partnerships with. I mean, we have direct booking systems with them. We have access to the rail fares before they're made available to the general public as such. And what does it look like traveling by train at the moment? I really hope we kind of have to talk about this less and less, of course, as the year progresses, but it's good to kind of bear in mind what it looks like. Everyone's wearing a mask, of course they are, staff and passengers. Stopping the sale of food and drink on board trains. It depends where you are in the world. In Germany and Eastern Europe, you can still get a cooked meal, still get draft beer on the trains, right? One note I always like to make here, though, is, of course, traveling by train, it's different to flying. You don't have the restrictions in terms of what you can take on board by traveling by train as you do with an aeroplane. The Marks and Spencer's is open opposite the Eurostar terminal at St Pancras now, so you can pop in, get your sandwiches, and take a coffee on board with you. Take a bottle of wine with you. It's nothing better than traveling to the south of France on a French TVG and enjoying a bottle of wine, or even down to Barcelona, for example, enjoying the view of the fine wine. Changing seat configuration allocation on board to allow for social distancing. Again, it depends where you are, really. In France, the unions and the power that they have managed to convince the government to allow them to run some TGV trains at full capacity. Now, in Italy, Trenitalia tried to do the same thing, but the Italian government said no. So they're not. They're still running around about 60 to 70% capacity. What is quite familiar, though, is a one-way system. So the door at one end of the carriage where people get on the train, and the other door at the other end of the carriage where people get off the train. Now, of course, increased cleaning and sanitation, which is welcome, really. Cleaners on board the trains as they're going along, not just at the start of the trip and the end of the trip. And contactless ticket control. An e-ticket, essentially. Have it on your phone or your tablet. If you're like me and you like to have a bit of paper, actual physical ticket, we'll print them off and send them to you as well. Don't worry. Okay. Now, that's that Railbookers intro out the way. Shall we have a look at some holidays now? Shall we? Yes. Come on. So, first up, we're going up to Scotland. Now, I'll apologise straight away if we've got anybody on the webinar from Scotland, because my pronunciations are awful. So I do apologise. But we're going on the Royal Scotsman. The Royal Scotsman, it's a Belmont train, so it's the same family as the Venice Simplon-Orient Express. Okay, it's a luxury 5-star train. It's got a capacity of around about 40 passengers, so very small capacity for a train, really. Once you're on board the train, everything is included. Food, alcoholic drinks, soft drinks, off-board excursions. So here, the Royal Scotsman Taste of the Highlands. Taste of the Highlands is their shorter itinerary. It's just 2 nights spent on board the train. They have other itineraries, 3-night itineraries, 4-night itineraries, and a few 7-night itineraries, but this is the shorter one. Spend 2 nights on board the train. And during those 2 nights on board the train, you also have a private tour of the Culloden battlefield, a visit to Strathyla Distillery. I told you my pronunciation's awful. Clay pigeon shooting or other outdoor pursuits, as they call it, at Rothiemurchus Estate. So you can even go whitewater rafting or fly fishing if you want. It's pretty crazy. There's a spa on board the train if you don't fancy any of that. So you can go and get a facial or a massage. You know, it's a 5-star service. It really is. What we've done here is we've taken the Royal Scotsman and we've packaged it together with 2 nights in Edinburgh at the beginning. You also get a city tour, find out the secrets of the Royal Mile and the Edinburgh Castle in Edinburgh. After the 2 nights, that's when you get on the Royal Scotsman. 2 nights spent on board the train. It comes back to Edinburgh, all those amazing things. And then you go over to the west coast, over to Fort William. 2 nights under the shadows of Ben Nevis, and you get a day trip on what many people say is the most scenic train journey in the UK, the West Highland line aboard the Jacobite steam train. This is the sort of welcome you get on the Royal Scotsman, men in kilts, always with drinks in hand to dish out. The lounge car, I said it's only a capacity of around about 40 people, so it's a really small kind of close community on board. The train only runs between March and October, and it doesn't run every day. There's around about 2 departures a month. It's scheduled to start running end of May. I think it'll start running June myself, really, but it's a wonderful experience. It really is. Lap of luxury on board. It's kind of open seating, so the tables for 2, tables for 4. Just, you know, the craftsmanship of the train itself, but the china and the glassware is second to none. Local produce as well, of course. You get kippers for breakfast, kind of pheasant and other fowl for dinner, fine cheeses, fine wines. The accommodation on board is great. There's only a couple of double cabins. The rest are twin cabins, so separate beds. What's key is, though, there's no bunk beds. They're all on normal, just ground level, a normal bed. They're big cabins. They have lots of sport storage, and they're all en suite as well. So you haven't got to worry about shared toilet facilities or anything like that. The onboard experience in the evening in the lounge car and the bar car, they have musicians on board, Highlanders telling stories, etc. The off-board excursions, and I haven't travelled in Scotland that much. I've travelled far and wide, but haven't travelled that much in Scotland. But this year I've realised how beautiful it is just by looking at images of it. It's gorgeous. One great thing about the Royal Scotsman as well, it's got an observational car at the end of the train where you can actually step outside, so it's open and get some great photos, which is a wonderful joy of traveling by train, of course. But it's beautiful. The Cairngorms, as I said, the national park, spend some time traveling through there. But then the West Highland line, so the Jacobite steam train, to younger generations, as the Harry Potter Express. This is the Glenfinnan Viaduct. It's only part of it. There's a little part where the train goes along the coast as well. It's gorgeous. There is a regular train service that runs this route as well, but then you obviously do miss out on the steam train experience. And the first class on the Jacobite is really worth it as well. It's that sort of British Pullman style comfy armchairs. You can get an afternoon tea served on board as well with sandwiches and things like that, just to make a day out of it. But gorgeous. Yeah, lovely. Well, probably the best day spent traveling by train, really. Now, something a little different. The Golden Eagle Danube Express Balkan Explorer from Rome to Istanbul. It's a bit of a mouthful, the title, but it's an amazing journey. Golden Eagle are an operator. Their main train is the Golden Eagle Trans-Siberian Express, which goes between Moscow and Vladivostok. They also have this train, which is the Danube Express, which is, again, a luxury 5-star private train. You sleep on board the train. All is included in the train. Food, drink, alcoholic drinks, off-board experiences, and you're going to amazing places here as well. There's only one departure. Sadly, departure this year was cancelled. There's a departure next year, 2022, in June. Starting price, just over £16,500 per person. But for that, you're away for 2 weeks, and it's 2 weeks of 5-star luxury. We've included the flights, so flight from the UK to Rome and flight back from Istanbul to the UK. You can fly from any airport. You're not tied to one particular airline with us. Again, it's that complete flexibility. If you'd rather take the train, we can take care of that for you as well. 2 nights in Rome starts with. You've got also a kind of tour of the early tour of the Vatican museums and the Sistine Chapel, the Colosseum and the Roman Forum. First class travel up to Venice, and you stay in the Hotel Danieli in Venice. Amazing old Venetian hotel on the Grand Canal. 2 nights there. The Doge's Palace, etc. as well. But then you board the Danube Express. 2 nights on board here, traveling through Trieste. Slovenia, you have some time in Ljubljana. You get a city tour of Ljubljana. You get to go to the Poistian caves systems. Amazing. Zagreb, Sarajevo, Mostar, city tours in each of these destinations. Again, private city tours as well. Exclusive sort of experiences and exclusive access to certain areas. Overnight in a hotel in Dubrovnik, so you did actually get to spend the whole kind of evening in Dubrovnik. Beautiful. and then back on the train for 4 nights as it travels through Belgrade, Skopje, down to Thessaloniki as well, Sofia, Plovdiv, before going into Istanbul. The 2 nights in Istanbul, of course, you get a tour of Hagia Sophia and the Blue Mosque before flying back to the UK. I've travelled a lot around this area by normal train, and the normal trains between Sofia, Belgrade, they're not the best quality than Thessaloniki, really. So amazing destinations, but all together on a luxury train as well. An amazing experience, an amazing journey. Here you get an idea of the kind of the regular cabin. So this is your standard cabin, so to speak, seating area. You get an idea here of what it's like kind of sleeping, where the beds fold down into a double bed. So that bit folds down, that bit comes over there, it's set up as a double bed for you. Every night the steward will come around and change it for you, so you don't have to worry about sorting out yourself. En suite as well. Here's the bar car. Sadly, we've only got a Christmas image, which is quite strange. But again, it's quite a kind of, I think the capacity here is only around about 60 people. So it's slightly bigger capacity than the Royal Scotsman, but really lovely. You know, journeys like this are for people, like-minded people who enjoy traveling by train. It's an amazing journey. It really would be. Here's the restaurant car. Again, every country you pass through is kind of local cuisine is served on board, picking up local produce as the train goes along. But yeah, just the destinations themselves sell themselves as well, don't they? Dubrovnik, having a night there would be a great experience, spending the evening 5-star hotel in Dubrovnik. And then Istanbul. I traveled to Istanbul, must have been around about kind of 6 years ago myself. I flew from Bucharest, Istanbul. A breathtaking city, it really is. And the train, it goes into Sakechi station, which is the old station right by the Bosphorus. Beautiful old Belle Epoque style. They're kind of renovating it at the moment. It's where the Orient Express historically terminates. An amazing kind of experience walking out there, and you're in the full throngs of downtown Istanbul. Yeah, a very special journey. As I said, only one departure next year for that full one, but the Danube Express, what they are doing, are running a few other journeys as well. So they're doing a particular journey between Prague and Budapest, a 3-night trip where you just get a taster of being on the train for 3 nights and some amazing outboard experiences. We'll be launching those next week, so there'll be more information about those coming via emails and on the website next week. Keep an eye out. Next, something a little closer to home and possibly a little familiar. It's the Glacier Express, but this holiday is called the Grand Glacier Express Excellence Class. So a couple of clues in terms of name. So a holiday on a website, if it's called Grand, the Grand will determine that it's all in first class already. So all the train travel is first class. Excellence class here, that denotes the Glacier Express, which has 3 classes of travel. It's got second class, it's got first class, and it's got excellence class. I'll go into more detail about the excellence class shortly, but let's have a look at the holiday. Again, we include the flights to and from the UK. If you want to take the train, no problem at all. It's quite a nice journey. Change stations in Paris, direct TGV to Zurich. Overnight in Zurich either way, that first night. What's quite nice about flying into Switzerland from the UK or from anywhere is the airports in Switzerland, particularly Zurich and Geneva, are so well connected with the rail network. You can come out of arrivals, go downstairs, you're in the main Zurich train station, airport train station. You get trains to every town, city in Switzerland. It's amazing. Either way, have a night in Zurich. Following morning, you've got the journey to Zermatt. It's around about a 4-hour journey, and you'd need to change trains in Bern. The suggestion here is to leave your bags at the station at Bern. There's hundreds of left luggage lockers there, very large, about 4 Swiss francs. Spend the afternoon exploring Bern. It's gorgeous. It's the capital, of course. I think very small city, cobbled streets, flags out throughout the year, a real kind of medieval feel to it in places. But then just walk down to the river. The other side of the river, there's the bear pit, huge great park where bears have lived for hundreds of years. It's obviously the emblem of Bern. Have some lunch at Bern. It's a beautiful city. It really is gorgeous. But the joy about the journeys in Switzerland, unless it's on one of the scenic trains like the Glacier Express, the Bernina Expresses, you can take whichever train you want. You don't have to worry about reservations. You can jump on the train, jump off the train at any time you want. Either way, Down in Zermatt, 2 nights in Zermatt. There's no cars in Zermatt. It's a sort of an old alpine village, very popular in the ski season, but outside of that time, well, it's gorgeous any time of the year, really. But very, some beautiful kind of walks and alpine walks around here. No cars, so at the station, our hotel, the Schweizhof, is right by the station, so it's great in downtown. But if your hotel's a little further away, you can. There's got complimentary phones at the station for all the hotels. So you ring them, they'll send somebody down in a golf buggy to pick you up. You know, that, or a horse and cart as well, as a good way to get around. 2 nights in Zermatt. Your full day there. You've got a day trip on the Gornergrat Railway, which is the second highest railway in Europe. Half an hour journey to the top, and at the top you've got an amazing view across around about 30 mountain peaks over 3,000 meters high. The main event obviously being the Matterhorn mountain, the kind of Toblerone shaped mountain. After your 2 nights in Zermatt, full length of the Glacier Express all the way to St. Moritz in excellence class. 2 nights in St. Moritz by the lake, and then up to Zurich for your flight home. All that for just under £2,700 per person. Hotel-wise, as I said, preferred hotel is the Schweizerhof in Zermatt. There's a Schweizerhof in every city in Switzerland. It's called Swiss House, essentially. They're all different. They're not the same group or anything, but it's a lovely hotel. If you want something a little bit special, though, we do work with the Riffel Alp Resort, which you may be familiar with, a TV show many years ago called The Night Manager. This was a set part of it as well. It's halfway up the Gornergrat, so you go up the mountain, jump off at a stop, and here's the Riffel Alp Resort in the mountains. Beautiful. It's surrounded by this pine forest, fragrant pine trees around, and see the views of the mountains and the Matterhorn mountain there. Beautiful hotel. But the Glacier Express, the main event of this holiday. So the Glacier Express, the slowest express train in the world. Beautiful scenery. You don't get a name like Glacier Express without seeing a few glaciers. 3 classes of travel, as said. So this is second class, as you can see, the carriage closest to us. You can tell by the little 2 by the door. First class is very similar. The only difference really is the seating inside. Second class is table for 4 one side, table for 4 the other. First class is table for 4 one side and tables for 2 on the other. So rows of 1 and rows of 4 or 2. Second class and first class, all the carriages have now been renovated. So brand new carriages as well. And what's exciting about the new carriages is you can open the windows of the doors now as well to get some great photos without the glare through the windows. And even at the bar car as well, you can open some of the windows at the bar car. Really exciting for keen photographers. But they also have on board the train 1 carriage of excellence class, which it looks like this. It's only 20 seats in each carriage, and there's only 1 carriage, and it's like a Michelin star restaurant, 5-star hotel on a day train. So 4-course lunch served, cheese board, local cheeses, local wines, breakfast as well, red carpet on up the train. Your luggage is transferred for you. You're on the train for 8.5 hours, so it's a long time on the train, but this is really the best way to travel by any day train, really. I'd say the most sought after train seats for any day train in the world, I would say. Amazing views. Every passenger gets an iPad or a tablet which tells you about the journey and what you're seeing as you're going through as well. So it tells you the whole history of the Glacier Express line. Here's another image. There's an exclusive bar just for excellence class passengers as well. I think that's Judith Chalmers at the bar. I always think it is. I'm not sure if it is, but looks like her, I think. Exclusive for excellence class passengers. Really special, a really special way to kind of, if it's a wedding anniversary or a birthday or something, so taking Glacier Express, this is the way to do it in style. And the great thing about the train is bookmarked, as I said, between great destinations like Zermatt and St. Moritz. St. Moritz are legendary, of course, the home of the winter sports, out of the toboggan run, the Cresta run, isn't it really? It's beautiful. The lakeside is gorgeous. During the spring and summer, you can go up to some of the top of the mountains, Pitznair, P-I-Z, and then N-A-I-R, where you get beautiful views down the Engadine Valley and things like that. We've also got another lovely hotel here, a little village called Sils, which is only about a 5-minute journey out of St. Moritz, called the Waldhaus Sils. It hasn't changed much since the 1900s. It's 5 stars, beautiful palace, but it hasn't changed much since the 1900s. Family run, it's still in the same family. Gorgeous hotel, really lovely. Now, we couldn't talk about a little bit of luxury and trains without talking about the Venice Simplon-Orient Express. So here we've got a slightly different holiday because they've actually launched some new departures, some new routes, which is quite exciting. We're so used to obviously London, Venice, Venice, London, of course, that's most of the departures. But this year and next year, they've got some traveling from Rome and from Florence, which is exciting, but they always go to Paris. So what we've got here is Rome and Florence to Paris with the VSOE. We packaged it with the flight out. You can take the train out if you want to take the train. Have a night in Lausanne on the way. Stop by the Lake Geneva, beautiful lakeside setting. Either way, in Rome, you've got 2 nights. You've got sightseeing experiences, the Colosseum and Roman Forum tour. Up to Florence for 2 nights. Skip the line, the Uffizi Gallery and a city tour, small group tour as well. But then from Florence, about 7 o'clock in the evening, you board the VSOE, Venice Simplon-Orient Express. Straight into a 4-course dinner, sleep in the cabin, have breakfast served at your cabin. You're pulling into Paris about 11 o'clock in the morning. So you're just on there for that 7 o'clock in the evening to 11 o'clock in the morning. In Paris, somebody will pick you up and take you to your hotel. And you've got a 3-day sightseeing pass in Paris, which I personally think is the best thing to have in your pocket when you're in Paris, because it covers all your metro journeys, your RER. You get out to Versailles if you want, skip them, entrance to Versailles, the Louvre, all the key museums. You've got entrance covered by that as well. So it gives you that freedom just to explore freely. And all that for less than £3,400 per person, including the flights, Rome, Florence, Paris, and the Eurostar back to London as well, of course. Now, the VSOE is very different to every other train. It's a completely unique experience being on board because of its historical nature. Excuse me. This is the twin cabin, so this is the basic, the first kind of accommodation on board. This is it in the seating setup. As you can wind the window down. There is a little table that folds out as well. They are quite small. That is just the nature of the train. It's a historic train. You can see on the right-hand side there's a hinge. Now that is where there is a door there behind that lacquered wall. That's the door. That door can open into the next twin cabin. So you can actually book 2 twin cabins together if you like, and then you've got a separate seating, a separate sleeping area. If not, that door's always locked. You haven't got to worry about people coming into your cabin at any time. The door handle that's in the bottom right-hand side, that actually opens up to a sink, a wash basin. There's no ensuite on this cabin type. There's toilet facilities at the end of the carriage, very big, luxurious toilets. There are ensuite facilities though in the Grand Suite accommodation, which these are actually quite new. They're beautifully kind of decorated, but they're only put onto the train around about 4 or 5 years ago. There's 5 on each train now, I think. So there's very limited availability, but you get a double bed, you get your separate seating area, you're ensuite shower as well. You get a butler. It's an amazing experience. Now, the lounge car, I wish I have an image of the bar car here, but the bar car is closed this year just due to social distancing. That's normally the hub of the train with the pianist, cocktails, etc. The lounge car is attached to that. So the lounge car is open, obviously, again. The bar is still open to serve drinks, just no one in the bar car. What's great, though, are the dining cars. These are the hub of the train. So there's 3 dining cars. Each of them are a piece of art. They really are. And they've got their own personal kind of particular style. The Cote desserts, the lacquer glass inlays, and then there's the L'Oriental with the black paneling as well. And I wish we had more images of them because it's absolutely gorgeous. It's very hard to show the craftsmanship involved in all of them. I mean, the original Art Deco carriages, gorgeous, really special. And that's the whole thing about the train, is that it's a piece of art. It's just such a unique experience. You can make as much of it or as little of it as you want. If you won't be the only one who's in a ball gown and tuxedo, I was just in a work suit and didn't feel out of place at all. It's an amazing experience. And this gives you an idea of the sleeping accommodation. So this is looking through that door that I mentioned into the cabin in front of us. That gives you an idea of the sleeping accommodation. So it is bunk bedded as such, but it's not. It's very easy to climb the ladder, so to speak. There's a steward for each carriage. He'll bring you coffee, tea, and a continental breakfast in the morning at a time of your choosing. Yeah, it's brilliant. Really, very, very special indeed. They're planning on starting running again middle of May. I think it will be June when they start running again, but it runs until November. There's still plenty of availability this year. And now let's head over the Atlantic to Canada. So the Grand Circle of the Canadian Rockies. Here, we haven't included the flights. We can take care of the flights if you'd like, but it's such a kind of competitive area field. We've left that you guys, but just over £3,000 per person for 8 nights, 9 days. There are 2 different rail operators in Canada. There's Via Rail, which is the national rail company. They run the big train from Toronto all the way across to Vancouver. And there's Rocky Mountaineer, which is the private luxury rail company, 5-star train company, really. This holiday combines them both. So you've got 1 night in Vancouver at the start, and then you board the Rocky Mountaineer, which takes you to Kamloops. Kamloops is a little town which is essentially there to provide hotel accommodation for Rocky Mountaineer passengers. Overnight Kamloops, your luggage is checked in at Vancouver, fast track to Kamloops in your hotel room for you. Then the following day, you're coming through the stunning alpine scenery from Kamloops to Banff. A surprising place to have the Alps. The Rocky Mountains are often described as the most beautiful mountain range, really, just because of the way they're formed. And they are gorgeous. There's no other, I've traveled to Jasper and on the Canadian myself many years ago through to Vancouver. And it's beautiful, such beautiful surroundings. 2 nights in Banff at the end of the Rocky Mountaineer journey. Here you've got a kind of sightseeing tour around Banff. Get a trip on the Banff gondola as well, which is up the top of the mountain. Amazing views across Banff. You get some lunch up there. We can even have dinner up there as well in the evening. It's beautiful. Transfer to Lake Louise. On the way, you kind of have a tour of Banff National Park and Lake Louise as well. Overnight in Lake Louise, and then transfer up to Jasper. And on that transfer, you get to go through the Icefields Parkway. This is where you get to go on the huge, great, it's not an ice tractor, but I think you've seen images, huge, great wheels, kind of like a bus on top of it, goes out to the glacier. An amazing experience. 2 nights in Jasper. This is where you're going to see bears, wild bears walking down the road, eagles flying overhead. But then you board the Via Rail, the Canadian train, for the final leg of its journey from Toronto, which is another 24 hours from Jasper to Vancouver. So you sleep on the Via Rail train from Jasper to Vancouver. And 1 final night in Vancouver. Rocky Mountaineer. There are 2 classes of travel on the Rocky Mountaineer, Silverleaf and Goldleaf. So in the holiday pricing, we base it on Silverleaf. Goldleaf is the upgrade option. Goldleaf, this is Goldleaf on the left-hand side. Key difference, they both include all meals and drinks, a la carte menu. The key difference is Goldleaf 2 levels. So downstairs is where the catering is, the restaurant car, these guys having breakfast. And then they've got upstairs as well, where they're having the drinks reception on that top image. Upstairs and downstairs. Silverleaf, downstairs. Silverleaf here is on the left, on the right-hand side, as we look at everyone saying cheers down the bottom, taking photos out the window. That's Silverleaf. Still get the panoramic windows. It's just when they're served food, it's served on the fold-down table in front. So that's the difference, really. Goldleaf, as you can see, upstairs with the huge panoramic kind of domed windows. Also have access to the outside viewing area, a viewing kind of platform at the end of the carriage to get some great photos. Everyone I've spoken to about the Rocky Mountaineer who's travelled on it told me it's kind of relaxed luxury. No pretense about it, but it's amazing service on board. It's won awards in terms of being the best service on board a private train, etc. The food, again, second to none. And the Canadian, so this is the Canadian, this is the observational car and the Canadian train. There's no reservations in the observational car. These seats are just first come, first serve. Lovely thing to do is just get up in the morning, take your book, grab a coffee. The lady at the end of the corridor down there is at the drinks area, getting a complimentary drink. And just bring your book up here and wait for the sun to come up. I'll be seeing the sun coming up as you're coming out the Rocky Mountains from the observational car. Accommodation on board here, you've got a single and double cabins. They're the same essentially, just doubles obviously a lot bigger. Seating area folds conveniently into beds, 2 beds for doubles. Ensuite as well. Well, ensuite you've got a toilet in there. There's a couple of showers every carriage as well, so you've got kind of shared facilities in terms of that. Meals are included. The food's great along as the journey goes along from Toronto before it gets to Jasper. It's spent 3 days traveling, and each stop it's picking up fresh produce as it goes along. So really good food and catering. And they do sort of evening kind of things as well. The staff on board put on some wine tasting for an evening as well in the kind of social area. There's sort of not just the observational car, but down below there's kind of social areas as well to meet other passengers. They do also have prestige cabins. Now the prestige cabins have double beds, about 50% bigger than the normal cabin. Sorry, I haven't got any images to hand at the moment, but they're amazing. They're amazing. The double bed is kind of facing the window, so the window's at your feet. So when you wake up in the morning, you just raise the blinds and look out the window at the end of your bed. Also, they're great for the full length of the Canadian, because that's if you're done there for 4 days, which I've done. It's a long time to be on the train. A lot of it you're just going through a forest as well. So in the Prestige, you've got an entertainment system with videos and films to watch. You've got a complimentary mini bar. The Prestige cabins as well have a private bar area at the end of the carriage. Private Prestige passengers anyway. But yeah, it's great fun. But that particular holiday, the Rockies Round Circle, it's great because again you get the Rocky Mountaineer. See, doing it all day, confusing the Royal Scotsman and the Rocky Mountaineer. The Rocky Mountaineer and the V-Rail experience, so you get the full Rocky experience. And I love this photo because I think it looks kind of as if it's been changed, the saturation or it's been tweaked a bit in terms of the color. It hasn't, honestly, believe me. This is what Lake Louise looks like. These are the lights and the colors that you see in the mountains. See, there's golds and the greens of the pine trees and the golds of the sun coming across. The Rocky Mountains are such a lovely corner of the world. They really are gorgeous, and traveling by train is such a great way to see them. Really is, because you don't have to worry about driving and looking out the window essentially. And a lot of the areas that the train goes, you can't get. It's only the train that goes through there. It's not as if you're following a road, or a road can get there as well. If you've liked the look of these, then have a look at the website. Please do. Now, excitingly enough, we're launching a brand new website at the end of this week. So it will look slightly different later on this week, but a bit of a refurb. But it's going to be pretty much the same as well. So destinations, of course, have a look there. I'll tell you all the different places which we have holidays. Holiday types is good. Got luxury, sleeper trains, got UK only, red trains, green trains, lots and lots of different train types to give you an idea. And of course, always have a look at the current offers. Some other offers in play. But if you prefer a brochure, then we have some e-brochures as well. We've got 4, in fact. We've got Railbookers, which is everything worldwide. We've got luxury, which are all the luxury trains. We've got the UK independent train holidays, so just holidays in the UK. And cruise extensions. If you're looking to a river cruise or an ocean cruise or something, what more could you do? We can help. Well, that's a good 40 minutes of me rabbiting on. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope it's been helpful, but please do let me know of any questions you might have regarding anything we've seen in the webinar or just in general. I'm here to help, so please don't hold back. Katie, yeah, don't worry. I saw you join late. That's quite all right. What we'll do is later on this evening, I believe you'll get an email. You'll all get an email. On that email, there'll be a recording of the webinar for you to kind of catch up on. So just in case you missed the beginning, that's fine. Yeah, absolutely. You can do things in reverse, of course, Bob. There's no problem on that. Of course, if the train goes in the reverse direction, I mean, a few of them we looked at today, so the Paris to Rome and Florence, it's not running that way round as yet. But yeah, we run all holidays in both directions as such, and there's that flexibility pretty much built in, unless it's only 1 or 2 departures, like some of the private trains we looked at today. We can make it work on any day possible for you. Absolutely. No problem, Gary and Alison. Thanks very much for tuning in. Glad you enjoyed it. Yeah, thank you very much. All right, guys. Well, thanks ever so much. I said thank you for tuning in. I really hope you found it helpful and informative. Any problems, any questions you might have, don't hesitate in getting in contact. You can drop me an email, gareth.jones@railbookers.com, or feel free to give us a call, 0203 780 2222. Any of the rail team can help there. All right. Have a good evening. Thanks again and take care, everybody. Cheers, Paul. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.